Never before have you seen so much coke in one place. That's not me claiming this. It's Spain's national police. But for most viewers, they're right. More than 12 tons of neatly pressed and colorfully labeled cocaine bricks were seized by police. Property, they say, of the most powerful drug barons in all of Europe. That's Albanian narcos, also called the Balkan cartel. These busts not only are shocking, they're informative. They reveal real changes in the global flow of the trade. Deliveries are the biggest, the product the purest. And despite major seizures like this, the price of cocaine in Europe remains flat, or even dropping, meaning the supply is barely being dented. So if this 12 tons of captured cocaine is astounding, and it sure is, then the amount that is still getting through is staggering, almost unfathomable. The mob reporter here with details on the operations that not only captured this 12 tons of South American cocaine, but also 20 of the people alleged to be behind it. Let me tell you about it. Police in Spain were plenty proud, meticulously stacking the monumental find in the courtyard of National Police Headquarters in Madrid, Spain's capital. The enormous haul arrived from South America in 2 shipments. The largest of the seizures weighed more than 8 tons, equivalent to 7.5 metric tons. The bricks were packed in the center of shipping pallets and surrounded by frozen tuna, which was likely chosen because it will have similar density and weight, and also an odor that might cover the smell of cocaine. While some might jealously be eyeing the blow, I'm salivating over those blocks of tuna. I sure hope it didn't go to waste. The businessman accused in this caper has companies registered in the province of A Coruña. Investigators had eyes on him for months. They say they watched shipment after shipment from South America, quietly inspecting several of them along the way. Investigators figure they had no purpose other than to pretend it was a legitimate import business, hoping that when they packed a few with cocaine, they would slip past without suspicion. The company's name is Spanish for blue sea, more like white tide. Police say it was likely time to feed the increased demand for cocaine over the Christmas and New Year's holidays. Looks like somebody won't be having a white Christmas. Nevertheless, investigators traced the shipping containers as they landed in the port of Algeciras, at the mouth of the Strait of Gibraltar. That's one of the world's busiest transshipment hubs. From there, it set sail December 1st, 2023 to the port of Vigo, in Spain's northwest. Now that region, Galicia, has been notorious for smuggling for decades, but this discovery dwarfs all others. The shipping containers were collected from the port and hauled 90 miles north by truck to an industrial warehouse in Cambrai, a town of about 25,000 people. There is an idiom warning against putting all of your eggs in one basket. These narcos ignored it. All of their coke, all 8 tons of it, were in a single shipping container. Spanish authorities said the shipment is one of the most important in the history of European trafficking. The smaller of the 2 seizures announced this week, almost 4 tons, or 3.5 metric tons, arrived at Spain's eastern port of Valencia. And although less than half the size of the tuna load, in some ways it's more interesting. This time the cocaine was hidden in secret compartments specially built into the shipping container. You can see authorities cutting into one of the metal panels at the back from inside a container to reveal the stacks behind it. This doctored container was one of 4 that arrived together at Valencia at the start of November. These guys had another trick they hoped would avoid suspicion. They pretended to abandon the shipping containers at the port, leaving them lying around the port like there was nothing special at all about them. For 30 days, the narcos waited patiently. Police, however, had identified them even before they had landed, so the cops watched and waited too. At the end of November, just as police were starting to think no one was coming to collect them, the routing destination for the containers was suddenly changed. If the cops needed encouragement not to give up, the company listed as the new destination was run by somebody already known to police. By coincidence, he had been arrested just days before for an entirely different set of charges for drug trafficking and membership in a criminal organization. On November 29, the first of 4 containers was moved by truck from the port to a vacant lot outside Valencia. There it again sat untouched. All night, police secretly watched it. The next day it was moved again to a nearby warehouse in the town of Chivirea. The gangsters were super cautious, working hard on counter-surveillance. Before collecting it, men sat on the outdoor terrace of a nearby restaurant. You see it here, watching the warehouse across the road, while a van, driven by a colleague, circled around and around the area, doing a wider sweep for police activity. But as far as police could tell, still didn't approach the container. One by one, the other 3 containers from the port arrived by truck, each one discreetly followed by police. There were now 2 containers inside and 2 outside, but still no one made a move for them. Police then watched several men in 3 vehicles circling the area, and each parking in a different area. Several men then met up again at the restaurant. When those men started to leave the restaurant, police decided to pounce. Cops raided the warehouse, the restaurant, and stopped the circling vehicles, although one made a good go of fleeing. Inside the warehouse, police found that somehow one of the containers had already been cleared out, with cocaine bricks packed inside sports bags and stacked by the door ready to go. The hidden wall in a second container had already been cut into, but unloading hadn't begun. With the help of firefighters, the remaining containers were opened up. Only the 2 inside the warehouse contained cocaine. Here are the men being arrested in the restaurant, and then walked over to the warehouse to join colleagues already handcuffed there. The cocaine originated in Colombia and likely packed for Europe in Guayaquil, a port in Ecuador. That's an increasingly important hub in the international drug trade. 20 people have been arrested. Most of them, police say, are Albanian. There were a few Spaniards, a Colombian, and a Dominican. Police say both shipments were the work of separate, powerful Albanian organized crime clans, groups that incorporate colleagues from neighboring Balkan countries. This highlights the importance, no, the dominance of the Balkan cartels in Europe's drug trade. Back in the 1980s, the Colombians controlled the show in Europe, as they were the exclusive source of cocaine. They sent their goods across the Atlantic, often through the twisting shoreline of Galicia, where local seafaring families snuck the coke ashore, the same way their grandparents smuggled untaxed cigarettes. The cocaine enlivened the golden age of swashbuckling Galician drug clans, forging bands of colorful narco sailors. Their artisanal offshore services have been eroded over the years by arrests and age, and vastly overshadowed by bigger commercial models. Why risk landing a fishing boat of coke when you can flood European ports with waves of shipping containers packed with this stuff? Galician narco sailors have been pushed to the margins. No longer masters of their own domain, they rarely own what they move now. The Balkan gangs, Albanians first among them, are the cocaine kings of Europe now. Taking advantage of record cocaine production and excess supply, they buy in enormous bulk direct from the producers in South America. And they package it that way too, larding it into sea crates and plopping them on cargo ships with destinations across Europe to ports big and small. They bribe, buy, or threaten anyone they need help from along the way. Police now hope these captured megaloads will help lead them to their door, where one day they hope to cart them away in chains. Thank you for helping me reach 500,000 subscribers. I'm so thankful for all of you. Please help keep the momentum going by making sure you're subscribed, giving this video a like, and leaving a comment to juice the algorithm. Tap the thanks button if you can give me a tip. Thanks for watching to the end.